Okay, I'm going to show what I did here to make a slow feeding bowl. Now you can buy these, and I'll show you in the next one why I don't think they're that effective, at least for me, or for my dogs. So what I did here is simply, this is a regular bowl that I laid out on the bottom the pattern that I wanted, then drilled it through the bottom since I already had everything laid out and marked. Then I used stainless steel bolts. I use stainless steel because for cleanliness, it's easy to clean the bowl when you're done, or when you need to at the time of, and it doesn't hold germs, So what you want to do, now this one is the one that I use for Harley. So each dog is specific. So it depends on the size of the muzzle, how fast he eats. So it's something you've got to just look at. So I decided to choose 2 different lengths of bolts. The center ones are shorter, and the outer perimeter ones are a little longer. Now for Harley, this works great. I put the food in here, and she eats very slow. She gets 1/8 of a cup in the morning and 1/8 at night. Now this works great. Something that you want to do is, again, I said I used stainless steel bolts. Then I used, now these are these are 1024s. 1024s. Now, bolts. And then something else that you want to do is I used, the nuts are nylocks. So they actually have an insert so that you don't need to use a locking washer. And I think it makes it so much easier. You have less spaces for stuff to get into. Again, nylocks, they cost just a bit more. They're well worth it. Once you snug that nut down, it stays. It's not going anywhere. Then, as you would know, normal bolts have sharper ends, the threads, where they terminate. So even if they're not real sharp, I didn't want any issues with the dog. So then you get acorn nuts. And as you can see, they're very smooth. They're domed. Chase that in with the acorn nuts. Now the dog gets his muzzle in there. He can eat. If his head gets in there, near his eyes, he won't have any issues with cutting himself or hurting himself. And like I said, everything is dependent upon the size of the dog. You got to just look at your dog and kind of go from there. So this is what I did for Harley. Now, Charlie was a bit different. Here's one of those so-called slow eat bowls. Now imagine it without those bolts in there. I didn't think it was worth a damn because there was too much open area, and Charlie could still get in there and chow down. So what I did in this case is I just simply drilled holes, nothing fancy in the back, just kind of estimated where they were going, nothing fancy. You can see this isn't centered real good, no big deal. And I used nylon bolts, nuts, and acorn nuts. So the nylon grips good, so they didn't need to be of a locking type. Didn't use any nylon locking washers, and they hold good. And so the same principle with the one I did for Charlie. Again, this is longer. They're made for Charlie. She has a little bit longer muzzle. It comes up higher. Now it takes time to get in here to eat. She can't get in there. Before, she could just basically get in there and eat really well. So this slows her down. Now, this is the updated version for Charlie. I wanted to further slow her down. Now, this is another design slow eating bowl. You can see that it has a center ridge and 3 perimeter ridges here. Bosses that are in the in this dish. There's the bottom. So in this case, it was fairly easy to lay out. When you're doing something like this, always start with like an 1/8 inch drill bit. So I drilled a pilot hole for each one of these, just kind of eyed it up, 1/8 inch drill bit from the back side. That located me at each one of the spots that I wanted. Then I used the bigger drill bit, in this case a 3/16. Chased them through with a 3/16 and had the diameter now that I needed to receive the bolt, the 1024, which is a 3/16. 24 threads per inch is what that means. So here, being that this is a different design, what I ended up doing here, or what I did differently here, is I used 1-inch bolts here, stainless steel again, 1.5 inches in the center, and 1.5 inches on the inside perimeter. So what that does is, if you can see here, it kind of gives you the inside is almost to the top of the bowl, and then we have some that protrude taller here, and then the center one. So now what that does, here's the center bolt. So now when the dog gets in there, he's got more restrictions. Okay, when Charlie sticks her head in there, she has more restrictions. And take my word for it, this is better for Charlie. This design worked perfect. And again, same principle. I used the Nylox 1024 Nylock nuts and the 1024 acorn nuts. Again, very smooth. You can't get hurt on that at all, no matter what. The dog's getting in there, getting aggressive, trying to get food. Protects the dog's face and eyes. Now this one works great. This is going to be Charlie's main dish right here. This slows her down. Probably pisses her off, but you know, it's not good to have a dog eating too fast. They can get too much air, and that's not good. Upsets their stomach, causes them to vomit, and other things. So anyways, there you have it. It's real simple. Anybody can do this. It's just a matter of each dog is different. So you almost have to kind of watch those dog and see how they, how they eat, how the length of their muzzle. Again, like I did for Charlie, or for Harley's, what I did for Harley's was just a regular bowl. So if you had a big dog, just get a bigger bowl. And then, kind of come up with a pattern, longer bolts, that makes it harder for the dog, because they're going to get in there with their tongue. So if you get it up high, then they got to use their tongue more, and they've got to work at it. So again, that's dog dependent, easy to do, doesn't cost much, and in my opinion, I think much more effective than just the regular bowl.